Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed professors and colleagues, welcome to today's Moot Court session. We kindly request that you keep your cell phones turned off so that you can join us in our session uninterrupted. In this simulated courtroom, we have gathered some of the brightest legal minds to engage in a spirited debate over a complex case based on true events. Over the past weeks, our participants have diligently researched, prepared their arguments to present before you today. It's designed to replicate the experience of arguing a case before the court and understand the legal procedures and steps of examination of witnesses in the court. Let's start with the details of the case. Crime number 72/2013 of Chittoor Police Station, case number 52/2013 of Additional Sessions Court 2, Ernakulam. Mr. Falgunan and Mr. Sukumaran were co-workers involved in loading and unloading works of Cochin Fisheries Harbour. Sukumaran had lent 1 lakh rupees to Falgunan, who did not repay the same to him. Moreover, Falgunan started to avoid talking to Sukumaran as he was unable to repay the amount back. On the night of 27 January 2013, at about 10:30 p.m., Sukumaran had decided to follow Falgunan to his home after they had completed the evening shift. He also kept a small dagger concealed in the folds of his dhoti. When Falgunan was walking on the Chittoor-Chernallur road, Sukumaran confronted him near the Kapela bus station. They got into an altercation, and after pushing Falgunan, Sukumaran used his dagger to stab him, then fled off. Meanwhile, a tailor, Mr. Sumesh, who was working late into the night in the same lane, happened to witness the incident happening. And he crossed the road to the side where Falgunan was lying, unconscious. He called for help to an auto rickshaw who was passing by. The rickshaw driver, Mr. Benny, pulled Falgunan into the rickshaw and took him to an hospital approximately 10 kilometers away. Falgunan was attended by the doctor in the casualty. Later was shifted to the surgery department where an emergency laparoscopic surgery was done. But Falgunan died on the operating table. Police conducted the inquest and transferred the body to the police surgeon for a medico-legal autopsy. Let me introduce the characters of today. Shivan's role will be played by Rohit, and Stella's role will be played by Shreya Nair. They are both bench clerks who work with the judge. They help to call the case, keep the official documents in order, summon witnesses, provide oath-taking assistance, mark exhibits, and ensure that the evidence is kept safe in custody. Honorable Judge will be played by Dr. Ajay Balachandran Sir. He is the court's presiding officer who possesses both inquisitorial and adversarial powers. He can pose direct questions, order investigations, and even punish anyone within the premise for contempt of court. Sukumaran's role will be played by Madhav Sanel. The accused in this case is a perpetual criminal and is backed by several highly influential powers, as he was their hitman for several years. The confidence he gained led him to commit the crime. If he were to be put behind bars, it would threaten these influential people due to unnecessary disclosure of the truth related to past crimes. Apsara's role will be played by Aditi. A socialist by choice, Apsara is an active member of various NGOs and has joined as a public prosecutor representing the government to serve justice for righteous causes. Today, she is here to represent Mr. Falgunan on behalf of the government in this case. She has an excellent track record. Kaveri's role will be played by Gayatri Vimal. Under her mentorship is being sculpted in her mold to benefit future generations. Padmini's role will be played by Nandini. She is the wife of the deceased who has been sick and tired of following up and waiting for justice to be delivered for over 10 years now. Both physically and mentally, she is not at peace. She has been summoned as the public prosecutor's witness. Anaka, played by Nandana Bijoy, she is a lawyer and a regular in the higher courts. She is known for her sharp arguments and shrewd skills to argue any case in her favor of her clients, making her the dread of many prosecutors. Her reputation as a highly sought after and well paid lawyer is well known, with a 1 hour sitting priced up to 1 lakh rupees. She is joined by her junior, Purnima, played by Krishna Priya, who is eager to be mentored by Anaga. Shobha's role will be played by Neha and Daya by Purima. They are two staff members working along with the deceased and the accused in the fisheries harbour of Cochin. The former is involved in finance, while the latter is a migrant worker who works as a janitor. Both had witnessed the verbal altercations between Falgunin and Sukumaran regarding the borrowed money and were called as the public prosecutor's witnesses. Before the hearing in court, Daya was met by the defense counsel's Purnima. Sumesh's role will be played by Manish. He is a middle-aged tailor with vision difficulties and refuses to wear glasses, as he prefers to be known among his clients as a young chap. This, at times, has delayed his work and caused him to work late at night. He has been summoned as the public prosecutor's witness. Unni Mohan's role will be played by Satishan Uncle. He is an old tailor and a co-worker of Sumesh. He is known for adhering to his ancient ideologies and concepts. He primarily works during the day. Anaga took the time to meet with the witness in person and requested the court to summon him on behalf of the defense counsel. Dhanraj's role will be played by Bhuvan. He is a young doctor with zero exposure in court and no interest in doing his PG, as he wishes to take care of the soon-to-be inherited multi-specialty hospital and other business ventures that are already minting money. A few months after his internship, in 2013, he worked as a casualty medical officer. Following this, he decided to be part of the medical administration as a ghost employee, as being a treating physician didn't seem to be his calling. He spends most of his days partying and drinking at raves, as his one-day shares amount to approximately 10 lakh rupees. He has been summoned as the public prosecutor's witness. Mohini's role will be played by Aishwarya, a young, vibrant, and experienced officer hailing from Tirunelveli, but is an active member in the Kerala police force, as her parents have had their domicile in Kerala for long. This was one of her initial cases she handled in 2013. She's short-tempered and tends to jump the gun, often making quick decisions, even without consulting with higher officials. For the same reason, her promotion to the CI rank has been put on hold. Nevertheless, she is least bothered, as her only target is to serve justice. Shrikuti's role will be played by Shweta Sajid. A native of Pathanamthitta, has been associated as Mohini's sidekick for a long time. She joined the police force due to parental pressure, even with her fear of the sight of blood and being questioned in the court, which she cannot get rid of even with the counseling. She has been summoned as the public prosecutor's witness. Sridevi's role will be played by Parvati. She is an academically oriented person who is preparing for her PhD and working as an assistant forensic scientist in the Forensic Science Laboratory of the state. In this case, she examined the murder weapon. She has been summoned as a public prosecutor's witness. Sachi, played by Shreya Sridharan, and Surya, played by Nikita, are MBBS batchmates and close friends who later did their PG together. The former became a laparoscopic surgeon, whereas the latter, due to their interest in solving crimes, chose to be a forensic surgeon. They both were relatively new in their field in the year 2013. They have been summoned as the public prosecutor's witnesses. Dr. Anu Shashidharan Sir will be playing the role of Mr. Poti. He is a cunning, retired government police surgeon. Now is infamously sought after by defense lawyers to give his testimony in court. For a hefty remuneration, he diligently helps several defense counsellors find loopholes in various medical legal reports for their benefit. These lawyers often quote him as a defense witness in several cases. The pitfalls in the lack of proper documentation and execution of medical legal works by the present generation of doctors have paved the way for retired doctors as such. Anaga considers Poti as one of her mentors and, as usual, has his blessings for the case in trial. He has been summoned as the defense counsel's witness. Benny. Benny's role will be played by Achilles. It's the rickshaw driver who took Mr. Falgunin on the dreadful night to the hospital. Anaga has painstakingly found him, as he would be a crucial witness who was overlooked by the prosecution, or not even imagined by anyone in the picture of the trial. She considered him a game changer and kept this witness as her trump card. He will be summoned as the defense counsel's witness today. It should be noted that Unni Mohan, Poti, and Benny were called to testify for the defense for their benefit, while the others were called as witnesses by the public prosecutor, as most of them are working for the government. You're all requested to refer to 4 crucial documents sent in the class group as part of the evidential materials of this case. The important points have been highlighted for you, for your reference and further understanding of this session. Thank you. We'll begin with the moot court session now.
All rise, please. The judge will be. Case 52 of 2013. Sukumaran was State of Kerala.
PP, start the chief examination.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, this is one of those cases where the sole breadwinner of a poor family was murdered, and the justice has now been delayed for more than 10 years. So today, I'd like to begin with the chief examination of the wife of late Mr. Falgunin.
PW1 Padmini. PW1 Padmini, please come to the witness box.
ദൈവം സാക്ഷിയെ കോടതി മുമ്പാകെ സത്യം മാത്രം ബോധിപ്പിക്കൂ.
കോടതിയെ തങ്ങളുടെ പേരും പിന്നെ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷങ്ങളായി അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടും പറഞ്ഞു ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തുമോ?
എൻ്റെ പേര് പത്മിനി. ഞാൻ 10 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ക്രൂരമായി കൊലപ്പെട്ട ഫൽഗുനന്റെ ഭാര്യയാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് കുത്തിക്കൊന്നതാണെന്ന് എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാം. എന്നിട്ട് എനിക്ക് ന്യായമായി കിട്ടേണ്ട നീതി ലഭിച്ചിട്ടില്ല. എനിക്ക് മടുപ്പായി.
അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഭീഷണിയുണ്ടതായി പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടോ മരിക്കും മുമ്പ്?
പലതവണയായി ആ പ്രതിക്കുട്ടി നിൽക്കുന്ന സുകുമാരന്റെ ഭീഷണിയും ശല്യവും.
That is all, sir. Please note that there was threat to the life of the deceased from the accused.
Any cross?
Yes, sir.
നിങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങളുടെ ഭർത്താവിനെതിരെ ആ പ്രതിക്കൂട്ടി നിൽക്കുന്ന സുകുമാരൻ കൊലപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതായിട്ട് കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? കണ്ടോ അതോ കണ്ടില്ലേ?
Objection! The witness is being harassed without taking into consideration her state of mind.
Sustained. Please be confident.
Yes, sir. No more cross.
PW2 Shobha. PW2 Shobha, please come to the witness box.
കഴിക്കാം. ദൈവം സാക്ഷിയായി കോടതി മുമ്പാകെ സത്യം മാത്രമേ ബോധിപ്പിക്കൂ.
ഹാർബറുടെ ഓഫീസ് സെക്ഷനിലല്ലേ ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്നു?
ഫൈനാൻസ് സെക്ഷനിലാണ്.
മരിച്ചുപോയ ഫാൽഗുനെയും അതുപോലെ അദ്ദേഹത്തെ മരണപ്പെടുത്തിയ സുകുമാരനെയും എങ്ങനെ അറിയാം?
Objection. The prosecutor is suggesting facts to the witness which has not yet been proven in court.
Sustained. Rephrase the question.
മരിച്ചുപോയ ഫാൽഗുനെയും പിന്നെ അവിടെ പ്രതിക്കൂട്ടിൽ നിൽക്കുന്ന സുകുമാരനെയും എങ്ങനെ അറിയാം?
അവർ ഒരുമിച്ച് ജോലി ചെയ്ത് വന്ന കൂട്ടുകാരായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ എല്ലാവരും പറഞ്ഞറിഞ്ഞു ഈ ഫൽഗുനൻ എന്തോ കാശ് കടം മേടിച്ചെന്നു. അത് തിരികെ കൊടുക്കാൻ കഴിയാതായപ്പോൾ അവർ തമ്മിൽ അടിയായെന്നും ഒക്കെ. ഒരു ദിവസം സുകുമാരൻ ഫൽഗുനന്റെ ഷർട്ട് കയറി പിടിച്ച് ഭീഷണിപ്പെടുത്തിയെന്ന് അവിടുത്തെ തൂപ്പുകാരി ദയൻ.
എങ്ങനെയാണ് സുകുമാരൻ ഭീഷണിപ്പെടുത്തിയത് ഫാൽഗുനെ?
കാശ് തിരിച്ചു കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റിട്ടില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ മടിക്കില്ല എന്നായിരുന്നു ഭീഷണി.
Please note this, sir. The defendant had threatened to murder the dissident in this case. This proves that there was motive and he was planning for the same. That's all.
Any cross?
No, sir.
PW3 Daya. PW3 Daya. Please come to the witness box.
हाथ रखिए. इस कोर्ट में शपथ लेती हूँ कि इस कोर्ट में शपथ लेती हूँ कि मैं सच बोलूँगी, मैं सच बोलूँगी, सच ही बोलूँगी, सच के अलावा कुछ नहीं बोलूँगी, सच के अलावा कुछ नहीं बोलूँगी.
आप फिशरीज हार्बर में आप बहुत सालों से फिशरीज हार्बर में काम कर रहे थे ना, क्लीनिंग का. आपने कभी सुकुमारन और फल्गुनन को झगड़ा करते हुए देखा 10 साल पहले? या लाइक आपने इसके बारे में शोभा को बताया?
मैंने तो कुछ नहीं बताया, मुझे ये सब कुछ नहीं पता. ये कौन सुकुमारन, कौन फाल्गुन, मुझे नहीं पता.
आप उनको जानते भी नहीं हो, आप क्या कह रहे हो?
मतलब मुझे कुछ नहीं पता, मुझे सच में कुछ नहीं पता.
Sir, please declare this witness as hostile. She's lying under oath and this amounts to perjury. Please look at this exhibit where she had given her statement to the investigating officer, exclusively mentioning about the threat. Please mark this as exhibit number 1.
अदालत में झूठ बोलने का अंजाम पता है?
सर मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. ये इन लोगों ने मुझे 4,000 रुपए दिए थे ये सब बोलने के लिए. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया सर, मुझे माफ कर दीजिए.
I will not allow this sort of counsels. I will not allow this sort of behavior in my court. I should have a fair trial in this court. And please consider the plight of the family. And as it is, this trial has been delayed for more than 10 years. You can stand down.
Sir, I'd like to do the chief examination of the eyewitness.
Proceed.
PW4 Sumesh. PW4 Sumesh. Please come to the witness box.
ठीक है. ദൈവം സാക്ഷിയായി കോടതി മുമ്പാകെ സത്യം മാത്രമേ ബോധിപ്പിക്കൂ.
നമസ്കാരം. ചേട്ടൻ്റെ പേരും ജോലിയും കോടതിയോട് പറയൂ.
പേര് സുമേഷ്, ഞാനൊരു തയ്യൽ ജോലിക്കാരനാണ്.
എവിടെയാണ് ചേട്ടൻ്റെ കട? എത്ര നാളായി തയ്യൽ ജോലി ചെയ്യുന്നു?
അവൻ ചിറ്റൂർ ചേരാനൂർ റോഡിൽ തെക്കേതൊക്കെ ഭാഗത്ത് മൂന്നുംകൂടിയൊരു ജംഗ്ഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. എൻ്റെ വഴിയരികിലായിട്ട് വരും. ഞാനൊരു 10 കൊല്ലത്തോളമായി അവിടെ ജോലി ചെയ്ത് വരുന്നുണ്ട്.
27 ജാനുവരി ഏകദേശം രാത്രി 10 മണി 10 സമയം ചേട്ടൻ എവിടെയായിരുന്നു? അന്ന് ചേട്ടൻ കണ്ട സംഭവം മൊത്തം അതേപോലെ കോടതിയോട് പറഞ്ഞു ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തും.
സംഭവം നടക്കുന്നതിന് അന്ന് വൈകുന്നേരം ഒരു വെഡ്ഡിങ് പാർട്ടിയുടെ ഒരു ലോണ് കിട്ടി. കല്യാണ കസ്റ്റമറിന് വെഡ്ഡിങ് പാർട്ടിയുടെ ലോണ് കിട്ടി. സെക്കൻഡ് ജുബ ഓൾട്ടറേഷൻ ചെയ്യണമെന്ന ആവശ്യമായിട്ടാണ് അവർ നമ്മുടെ അടുത്ത് വന്നത്. നേരത്തെ വാങ്ങിച്ച് വെച്ച ജുബ ആയത് കാരണം അത് ചെക്കന് വണ്ണം വെച്ച് തന്നത് ചേരുന്നില്ല, അത് ലൂസാക്കി കൊടുക്കണം എന്നൊക്കെ പറയാൻ എൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടു. അത് കല്യാണം ആവശ്യമായത് കാരണം എത്ര മണിയായാലും അത് റെഡിയാക്കി കൊടുക്കാമെന്ന് ഞാൻ അവരോട് വാക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു. അത് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് യാദൃശ്യവശാൽ ഒരാൾ മറ്റൊരാളെ പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് ഓടിപ്പോകുന്നത് ഞാൻ കണ്ട്.
കണ്ടതല്ലാതെ ഇവർ തമ്മിൽ സംസാരിക്കുന്നത് വല്ലതും കേട്ടിരുന്നോ?
അവർ സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയായിരുന്നു. പെട്ടെന്നാണ് തന്ന പൈസ തിരിച്ചു തരാൻ വയ്യെങ്കിൽ ഷൗട്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട്
ഏകദേശം എത്ര മണിയായിട്ടുണ്ടാക്കും? അതെങ്ങനെ കൃത്യമായി പറയാൻ പറ്റും?
അന്ന് ഞായറാഴ്ച സെൻറ്റ് ജോസഫ് പള്ളിയിലേക്ക് രാത്രി പോകാനാകുന്നത് 10 മണിയോട് കൂടിയാണ്. മണി മുഴങ്ങി ഒരു 10 മിനിറ്റിന് ശേഷമാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ സംഭവം കാണുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഞാൻ 10 സമയം പറഞ്ഞു.
ശരിയാ. ഇനി അന്ന് രാത്രി കുത്തിയാളെ എവിടെ വെച്ചു കണ്ടാലും തിരിച്ച് അറിയുമോ? ഈ കോടതിയിൽ അയാൾ നിൽപ്പുണ്ടോ?
ഇത് ആ നിൽക്കുന്ന ആളാണ്, ഉറപ്പായിട്ടും ആ തന്നെയാണ് പേര്.
ശരി ഷിമേഷ്, വളരെ നന്ദി.
Any cross?
യെസ് സർ. ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്ന ചോദ്യത്തിന് അതെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അല്ല എന്ന് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. സുമേഷിന് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടോ? കണ്ണിന്റെ കാഴ്ച അത്ര ശരിയല്ല അല്ലേ? തന്നോടല്ലേ ചോദിച്ചത്, അതെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അല്ല എന്ന് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി.
Objection! The witness is being intimidated by the defense.
Be more polite.
യെസ് സർ. ദ വിറ്റ്നസ് സേസ് ദാറ്റ് ഹിസ് ഐസൈറ്റ് ഇസ് പെർഫെക്റ്റ്. എന്നാൽ കണ്ണിന് ഒരു കുഴപ്പമില്ലെങ്കിൽ ദേ ആ നിൽക്കുന്ന ക്ലോക്കിൽ ഇപ്പൊ സമയം എത്രയാണെന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
സമയം 12 മണിയാണോ?
ഉള്ളത് പോലെ. അപ്പൊ കൃത്യമായി കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. ഇവിടെ നോക്ക്.
എന്നാ 12 മണി.
Sir, this eyewitness and his statement is totally not credible in this court of trial. We all know that the current time is 1:35. But the fact that he can't even see that too in such a well-lit room like this courtroom, proves beyond any reasonable doubt that in no way could he have seen what happened 10 meters away from his shop, that too at night, when the streetlights are not even working most of the time. He has never seen my client stab anyone, sir. That is just his guess. And I request the court to take up my evidentiary material regarding the same. This may be marked as exhibit number 3. This is prescription for the eyewitness from an ophthalmologist regarding permanent use of spectacles, as he has very poor vision of 6/24. That is all, sir.
Marked as exhibit 3. Anything else for the defense?
No, sir.
In re-examination?
No, sir.
I request the court to permit defense witness 1 for chief. This witness is very vital to this case, sir.
Proceed.
DW1 Unimohan. DW1 Unimohan. Please come to the witness box.
ദൈവസാക്ഷി കോടതി മുമ്പാകെ സത്യം മാത്രം ബോധിപ്പിക്കുന്നു.
താങ്കളുടെ പേരും ജോലിയും കോടതിയെ ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തൂ. ജോലി.
ജോലി തയ്യക്കടയാവും. ജോലി തയ്യക്കടയിൽ.
ഈ സാക്ഷിക്കുട്ടി നേരത്തെ നിന്ന ആളെ അറിയാവോ? എങ്ങനെയാണ് പരിചയം?
സുമേഷും കൂടി 30 കൊല്ലമായി അവിടെ തയ്യക്കടയിൽ.
സുമേഷിന്റെ കാഴ്ചശക്തിയെക്കുറിച്ച് എന്താണ് താങ്കളുടെ അഭിപ്രായം?
സുമേഷിന് കാഴ്ച ഒട്ടുമില്ല. ഒരു സൂചി നൂലും പോലും കോർക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അവനോട് എപ്പോഴും പറയും കണ്ണട വെക്ക്, ഡോക്ടറെ സ്ലിപ്പും ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ അവർ കണ്ണട വെക്കില്ല. പ്രായം കൂടുതൽ എഴുതിയത്തും കണ്ണട വെക്കണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
This proves that the eyewitness is not at all a credible person and his statement should be considered invalid in this case of trial.
Objection! The defense is trying to confuse and dilute the credibility of the eyewitness by bringing in fabricated facts.
Sustained. Any cross?
Yes, sir. ഡോക്ടറുടെ കുറിപ്പ് സുമേഷിന്റെ അറിവോടി കൂടി അല്ലാതെ കൊടുക്കുന്നത് തെറ്റാണെന്ന് അറിഞ്ഞിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾ വക്കീലിന്റെ കയ്യിൽ നിന്നും പ്രതിഫലം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചു കൊടുത്തതാണെന്നും ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ നിങ്ങൾ അതോ സമ്മതിക്കുവോ അതോ അല്ലയോ? അപ്പോൾ കൊടുത്തതാണെന്ന് സമ്മതിക്കണല്ലേ? Please note this, sir. No more cross.
Any re-examination?
No, sir.
I'd like to examine the casualty medical officer who examined the resident.
Proceed.
PW5, Dr. Dhanraj, please come to the witness box.
Not cool at all, Your Honor. I've been having a headache. I've been farting all night. I have a hangover. You have an aspirin to keep the change.
Please, this is the court. Please show some decorum here.
Okay. Chill.
Please keep your hand on it. I solemnly affirm that
I solemnly
what I shall state
what I shall state
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth.
the whole truth.
Does she think I'm going to lie in court?
Is sworn in?
Good afternoon, doctor. Please read the opinion on the wound certificate and confirm that this is yours to the court.
Yeah. Opinion is as could be alleged because this bears my sign and signature. Has to be mine.
This wound certificate may be marked as exhibit number 4. The doctor has opined that the causation of the injury is consistent with the fact that the decedent was stabbed with a weapon.
Any cross?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, doctor. In your wound certificate, you'd mentioned only one injury, and that injury has been stated as a wound. You've not exactly specified the type of wound. So, would you agree with me if I say that you'd failed to correctly document this as an incise stab wound and instead just documented it as a wound, which in turn means that it could have been any wound for that matter?
No, I disagree.
The doctor says that he has not failed to correctly document the injury, but the exhibit marked as 3 clearly does not have the same. The doctor is contradicting his own documentary evidence, sir.
Objection. The defense is trying to confuse the doctor.
Thank you, sir. How long have you been working as the casualty medical officer, and how many cases of stab injuries have you attended to by the time of January 2013 and not now?
I began working as a CMO in January 2013. I was new to this then.
The doctor was inexperienced, and that is the reason for the low credibility of the document, sir. That is all.
Any re-examination?
Yes, sir. I'd like to clarify some of the confusions that have now been created by the theatrical line of questioning from the defense. Doctor, in the injury that you mentioned in the wound certificate, definitely is it not possible that in all probability it was produced by the action of a stab, thereby making it an incise stab wound?
Yes, definitely.
Please note this, sir. That's all.
Call the assignment line.
PW6, SI Mohani, please come to the witness box.
Please keep your hand on. I solemnly affirm that. I solemnly affirm that what I shall state. What I shall state shall be the truth. Shall be the truth. The whole truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. And nothing but the truth.
Officer, please explain to the court as to how you came to the conclusion that this man is the one who murdered Falgunan.
We took statements from his workplace and from the wife of the deceased. And from this, we understood that Mr. Sukumaran had the motive and animosity to commit the crime. We then found a witness who helped us identify the culprit. Subsequently, Mr. Sukumaran confessed to the crime.
Right, but how did you connect the accused to the crime? As in, what material evidence did you recover?
We recovered the weapon and we sent it to FSL for further analysis. The weapon was recovered from the well at the house of the accused.
So, can I use the MO to show to the witness?
Sure.
Is this the weapon that you recovered from the well of the residence of the accused?
Yes, this is the one.
Please note this, sir. That is all.
Any cross?
Yes, sir.
Is it true that your promotion has been withheld due to your inefficiency in discharging duties and that you're an arrogant officer? Say yes or no.
Objection. The question has no relevance to the case and trial.
The question, with all due respect to the court and my dear learned prosecutor, this question does have relevance to this court. And if I were given some time, I would be able to prove. So please. Say yes or no.
No.
So you claim to be a very efficient officer in discharging your duties. But I say to your face that you did not in fact retrieve the weapon from the house of my client. You were on leave that particular day, to be precise, February 2nd, 2013. In fact, you were on leave the entire week. You sent your junior officer to retrieve the weapon. So I repeat that you had not in fact retrieved the weapon from the house of my client. That is a blatant lie. You'd seen it after retrieval in the evidence locker of your police station. You'd not even seen the residence of my client, let alone the well. Do you agree or not?
How dare you? Who do you think you are, huh?
Order in the court. Answer the question, and you will be charged for contempt for this behavior. You understand that?
My apologies, sir. I myself did not recover the weapon.
That is all, sir. This weapon could have been planted evidence to put the blame on my poor innocent client. They might not even have recovered the weapon from any place. They could have simply bought it for a couple of ₹100. This requires further investigation, and I request that this murder weapon might not be kept as MO1 for this case. That is all, sir.
Any re-examination?
Yes, sir. Officer, please calm down. The court appreciates your efforts in this case, and the court believes that an efficient officer such as yourself would have assigned some senior cadre assistant to do the supervision for the weapon recovery in your absence. Whom did you assign? Please elaborate on that to the court.
Senior Civil Police Officer Sri Kuti did the weapon recovery.
Right. Sir, can I be given permission to examine Senior CPO Sri Kuti? Proceed. Thank you.
PW7, Senior CPO Sri Kuti, please come to the witness box.
Take it. Devam Sakshi, Kodadi Mumbage, Satya Matre Bodhipikulu, Satya Matre.
Sri Kuti, can you please explain to the court as to how you recovered the weapon from the residence of the accused?
I recovered the weapon from
Yeah. Okay, so you're saying that you recovered the weapon from the well?
Objection. The PP is asking leading questions and suggesting answers, sir.
Overruled. ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് സംസാരിക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മലയാളത്തിൽ സംസാരിച്ചാൽ മതി.
Yes, sir. ഞാൻ കത്തി സുകുമാരൻ്റെ വീട്ടിൽ കിണറ്റിന്ന് രണ്ടുപേരെ ഇറക്കി തപ്പിച്ചെടുത്തുണ്ട്. അന്ന് ഞാനായിരുന്നു സ്റ്റേഷൻ ഹൗസ് ഓഫീസർ, കാരണം മോഹിനി മാം അന്ന് ലീവായിരുന്നു.
Right. ഇതാണോ ശ്രീകുട്ടി റിക്കവറി ചെയ്ത വെപ്പൻ?
അതെ, ഈ കത്തി തന്നെയാണ്. ഞാൻ ജീവിതത്തിൽ ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഒരു കത്തി കിണറ്റിൽ നിന്നൊക്കെ എടുക്കുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് എവിടെ കണ്ടാലും മാറ്റില്ല.
Please note this, sir. That's all.
MO number 1. Any cross?
No, sir.
PW8, Dr. Sridevi, please come to the witness box.
I solemnly affirm that. What I shall state shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth and nothing but the truth.
Good afternoon, scientist. Can you please explain your findings in brief to the court from this report after confirming that this was issued from you by your office?
Yes, this is my report as it bears my seal and signature. We could not lift a complete fingerprint from the murder weapon. However, we were able to lift 3 partial prints which were consistent with that of the fingerprints of the accused.
Thank you. That is all, sir. Please mark this as exhibit number 5.
Any cross?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful.
Good afternoon. Your report had mentioned that there were 8 points of comparison between the 2 prints. That is, the prints lifted from the weapon and that belonging to my client. And using these 8 points, you are saying that it is in fact consistent in being that of my client. Yes or no?
That is
Thanks, scientist. I get that you've used only 8 points of comparison, and you could get only these meager 8 points because the prints that you lifted from the weapon were partial ones and not complete. So if I were to say that you did in fact get a complete print and thereby used 12, 16 or maybe even 18 points of comparison, then would such a comparison be more conclusive wherein you can say that that prints does in fact belong to my client and only my client beyond any reasonable doubt? Would you agree with me? Yes, please know this point, sir. This is very crucial to this case. Scientist, I was wondering if you could enlighten this court regarding something else. Imagine in a hypothetical case, you were able to compare the blood group or DNA taken from the murder weapon with the blood group or DNA of the deceased. Then would you be able to for sure give an opinion whether that murder weapon itself was used to stab or murder the deceased? Yes, you say yes, exactly what I was saying. So if I say that in this case, such a comparison of the blood group or DNA was not done, would you agree? So you say yes. So we cannot completely rule in the fact that this MO1 itself was used to stab the deceased, as such a comparison was not done. Or in other words, would I be right if I say that there is no way in which you can scientifically connect this knife with that of the deceased? Would you agree?
So should I answer this as a yes or no only?
Unless you have anything to explain, answer the question.
It is true that I did not do such a comparison. Hence, for sure, I cannot say this is definitely the murder weapon used for the murder of the decedent.
That is exactly what I was asking, sir. We cannot be sure. And moreover, there are no complete prints. This might be noted, sir. Thank you.
Any re-examination?
Yes, sir. Scientist, would you like to take a sip? Come on. In your experience and with your academic background, what is your take on utilizing partial fingerprints in order to reach to a conclusion in such cases? Please explain that to the court.
As per the existing literature and publications, any evidence which has been proven to be consistent is as good as true unless there is a counter evidence for the same. Hence, when I mentioned in my report as consistent, what I meant to say it is as good as true.
Please note this point, sir. Partial fingerprints are being accepted scientifically. That is all.
PW9, Dr. Sachi, please come to the witness box.
I solemnly affirm that. I solemnly affirm that. What I shall state, what I shall state, shall be the truth, the whole truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth, and nothing but the truth.
Good afternoon, doctor. As the surgeon who operated on the deceased, is this the treatment certificate issued by you? Can you confirm that it's yours as it bears your seal and signature, and explain to the court the salient findings, just the important ones, please?
Yes, this certificate was submitted by myself as it bears my seal and signature. This was a victim who sustained a stab injury to the back of the trunk, and there was severe internal bleeding of approximately 2 liters of blood. We could not save the patient, as just as we began the procedure, he went into hypovolemic shock and was declared dead.
Thank you, doctor. Please note this, sir, and please mark this as exhibit number 5.
Any cross?
Yes, sir. Please answer my questions as just yes or no. Did you know the source of the bleeding inside the abdomen of the deceased?
No, me or my team did not know.
So if I say that the bleeding was so large that even a surgeon could not find it prior to exploratory laparotomy, would you agree?
Yes.
That is all, sir.
PW10, Dr. Surya, please come to the witness box.
I solemnly affirm that. I solemnly affirm that. What I shall state, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Good afternoon, doctor. Please read and this is yours, as per the TSC.
Yes, this is the medico-legal autopsy report that I furnished. It was regarding the decedent Mr. Falgunan. There was a stab injury to the back aspect of his trunk that severed the right adrenal artery, leading to massive intra-abdominal bleed of around 2 liters of blood. The immediate cause of death was the hemorrhage, and the basic cause of death was the stab injury in itself. This report does bear my seal and signature. Have an order, please. Yeah. Yes, it is possible that this weapon produced the injury documented because the length, breadth, and depth of the injury documented matches with the breadth, thickness, and the minimum length of this ammo.
Exhibit number 6. Any cross?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks, doctor. Please answer yes or no to my questions. Can a loss of more than 1/3 of the total amount of human blood be fatal?
Yes, it can.
And if I say that an artery like this adrenal artery is a small sized or a small luminal artery, would you agree?
What did you say? Lumen.
Lumen, lumen.
What does that mean?
So it is the hollow space within the blood vessel through which the blood flows.
Okay.
May I?
Answer the question.
Would you agree that it is a small artery? As per your report, you had mentioned that the minimum length of the weapon has to be 6 centimeters. So if I were to say that another double-edged knife of the same breadth and thickness, but of length maybe 12 centimeters, can have caused the same injury as mentioned in your autopsy report, would you agree?
Yes, it is possible.
Please note this point, sir. The MO1 is currently 17 centimeter long, but the surgeon has mentioned the possibility of a 12 centimeter long weapon too. That is also.
Re-examination?
I kindly request this court to permit me to examine 2 more witnesses, as their testimony can have crucial impact on the outcome of this case and would be bringing into light few more sought out clarifications. We had sent the email to your office this morning. We had also submitted the soft copy and hard copy as per this morning. We were having a hard time making sure that these witnesses would be available, sir. And moreover, they are the most important witnesses in this case. Requesting your kind permission.
Shivan, did you receive the mail? Overruled. Proceed.
DW2, Dr. Poti, please come to the witness box.
Autopsy report. Autopsy report. Autopsy report.
I solemnly affirm that what I shall state shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Autopsy report. Just a second. Autopsy report.
Good afternoon, sir. As a very senior and experienced forensic surgeon, could you please enlighten this court on your expert opinion on this autopsy report?
Yes, I can. As we can see that towards the end of this report, the doctor has not actually searched the blood group or the DNA from the body of the Mr. Vanvudan, or comparing it with the blood group or the DNA on the weapon, because without that it is not possible for expert opinion to say that the weapon would have been connected.
Thank you, sir. Please note these points, sir. And could you give us your expert opinion on the amount of blood loss and the source of blood lost in this case?
Now, as per this autopsy report, there is approximately 2 liters of blood has been lost. See, from my years of experience, this is actually a rare case where increase to such a trivial structure like adrenal artery has resulted in such a massive blood loss. So, this blood loss is could have happened from a medium size artery or a large size artery. So, there can be only 2 possibilities. Either it could happen from a medium size artery, but the doctor has shown so much smaller than happening like adrenal. There's only one possibility that the distillate and really have a delay in receiving the treatment, which resulted in such a massive loss of.
Thank you so much, sir. Please note this point that there had been a delay for medical assistance to the deceased in this case. Also, the doctor had mentioned that the injury was trivial in nature. That is, it was only possible to likely cause the death of the individual and not sufficient in the ordinary course of nature to cause the death. I'm merely quoting 300 IPC, sir. That is all.
Rose?
Where did you see it? Right. So that is sabotage and speech, right? So if I say that the defense counsel had paid for your accommodation and travel, would you agree?
Objection. My reputed witness is being harassed in order to destroy his morale. I feel huge contempt for my colleague for stooping down to such levels in order to win this case by any means necessary.
Sustained. PP, please ask only questions relevant to this proceeding. Please don't go into unnecessary questions. Let's take this forward.
So, doctor, if I say that taking a sample of blood or DNA and homicide cases have only been mandated by the High Court of the State of Canada in 2023 and was also the mandatory order that we fought for back in 2030, would you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Please know this, sir.
This is not an addition for the side of it. It's in the BTL vaccine without have to send of that sentence. That's all.
Any explanation?
No, sir.
DW3 Benny. DW3 Benny, please come to the witness box.
ದೇಮ್ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿಯೇ ಕೊಡದಿ ಮುಂಬಾಗೆ ಸತ್ಯ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೋಧಿಪಿക്കും.
താങ്കളുടെ പേരും ജോലിയും കോടതിയെ ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്തൂ.
എൻ്റെ പേര് ബെന്നി. ചിറ്റൂർ സേലം റോഡിൽ കപ്പേള ബസ് സ്റ്റോപ്പിനടുത്തുള്ള ഓട്ടോ സ്റ്റാൻഡിൽ ഓട്ടോ ഓട്ടിരുന്നു.
27 ജാനുവരി 2013 അന്ന് രാത്രി നടന്ന സംഭവങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് ചുരുക്കി പറയാവോ?
അന്ന് രാത്രി അന്നാണ് ഞാൻ ചോര വാർന്ന് നടക്കുന്ന ചേട്ടനെ ആശുപത്രിയിൽ.
ആ തീയതി ഇത്ര കൃത്യമായി ഓർക്കാൻ എന്താണ് കാരണം?
സാധാരണ ഞാൻ വയ്യാത്ത ആൾക്കാരൊക്കെ ആശുപത്രിയിൽ എത്തിക്കാറുണ്ട്. എന്നാലും ഇത്രയും ചോര ഒഴുകിക്കിടക്കുന്ന ചേട്ടനെ കാട്ടിയിട്ട് എങ്ങനെയാ സാർ എന്നെ മറക്കുക?
ചോര നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ട ആളെ ബെന്നി ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ ഇറക്കിയിട്ട് പിന്നെ എന്താണ് ചെയ്തത്?
ഞാൻ ആശുപത്രിയിൽ എത്തിച്ചിട്ട് നടന്ന കാര്യം മൊത്തം പറഞ്ഞ് എൻ്റെ പേരും അഡ്രസ്സൊക്കെ അവർ വാങ്ങിച്ചായിരുന്നു. ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഞാൻ പിന്നെ വീട്ടിൽ.
ചോര വാർന്ന ആള് ബെന്നിയുടെ ഓട്ടോ കയറിയത് 10:30, എന്നാൽ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ എത്തിയതോ 11 മണി. ഇത്രയ്ക്ക് സമയം എന്താ എടുത്തതെന്ന് കോടതി ഒന്ന് ബോധ്യപ്പെടുത്താവോ?
അന്ന് രാത്രി ഞാൻ പരമാവധി വേഗത്ത് ഓട്ടോ ഓട്ടിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിച്ചിട്ടും സമയം ഒരുപാടായത് ഓടി പണി കാരണമായിരുന്നു. പരിയാസിക്കാണെങ്കിൽ വെറും 10 മിനിറ്റേ എടുക്കത്തുള്ളൂ. എന്നാൽ ഞാൻ പോയി 2 വഴികളും റോഡ് ബ്ലോക്കായിരുന്നു കനാലിൻ്റെ പണി കാരണം. ഞാൻ പിന്നെ ഒരു ഊഹം വെച്ചൊക്കെ ഓട്ടിച്ചപ്പം സമയം ഒരുപാടായി. രാത്രി സമയം, പിന്നെ ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞൂടാത്ത വഴി കൂടിയായിരുന്നു.
അന്ന് ബെന്നി ഓടിച്ച വണ്ടിയെക്കുറിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയാനുണ്ടോ?
ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ് ഹാൻഡ് റെയർ എഞ്ചിൻ ബജാജ് മോഡൽ ആയിരുന്നു. അതാണെങ്കിൽ അന്ന് ഭയങ്കര കുരുക്കായിരുന്നു. അതുകൊണ്ട് അടുത്ത
Please note these points, sir. The descendant had travelled for a very long distance in very poor road conditions for more than 10 kilometers when the normal distance would have been just 2 kilometers. These said reasons are neither the fault of my client nor the Good Samaritan rickshaw driver. Details as to the make and model of the vehicle has been submitted and can be verified against the statement taken by the investigating officer, sir. That is all.
വേറെ വിറ്റ്നസ് എന്തെങ്കിലും പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? വേറെ വിറ്റ്നസ് എന്തെങ്കിലും പോസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ? Any closing statements, PP?
So at this point, it is very clear that Sukumaran is the man who murdered Parth. The accused had a strong motive. He had planned and prepared for this. There were witnesses to the fact that Sukumaran was harboring ill intent towards the deceased. And the fact that he even verbally threatened
him on multiple occasions. Understanding the importance of the witness who had given her statement in order to confirm the motive and as to having witnessed the verbal threat, the defense counsel had manipulated her, thereby turning her into a hostile witness. The eyewitness also identified the accused in this courtroom despite his poor vision, and he also confirmed that he heard the threat made by the accused to the dissident in the final moments. All the doctors unanimously agreed that the death occurred as a result of the blood loss from the stab wound. Even the forensic scientist found the weapon recovered to be belonging to that of the defendant. Justice delayed is justice denied, Your Honor. Miss Padmini, having placed her faith in this court, expecting the court to give the justice that she deserves, or rather what is her right. People like Padmini should not lose their faith in the system if the court is just going to turn a blind eye to all the evidentiary materials that have been displayed today. Considering all the facts that I've mentioned so far, I request the court to give the maximum possible penalty to the defendant under Section 302 IPC, which is death penalty or at least life imprisonment, Your Honor. That's all.
Defense?
Our prosecutor seems to be very good at making up stories. It is as clear as day that the prosecution has failed to prove beyond any reasonable doubt that my poor innocent client has for sure in fact committed this crime. The witness that brought in regarding the motive is hearsay evidence from another witness. That is regarding the so-called threatening episode. That witness had neither heard nor seen the same. And the eyewitness had defective vision, which was very clearly shown in the court. If it is not clear as to whom he saw that night, then what he says today in this court is not valid. And the murder weapon with only partial prints cannot be scientifically connected to the deceased, as no material evidences regarding blood group or DNA comparison was done. Over and above, the so-called incised stab wound was only trivial. It was not sufficient in the ordinary course of nature to have caused the death of the individual, as it has been proved that the artery that was severed is a small luminal artery. Summing up all and the blood loss was massive as a result of other unexpected events that intervened the situation. Summing up all these, I request this court to give a fair verdict to my client. The failure on the side of the prosecution to convince this court has to be taken very seriously. My client too has put his faith in this court for a fair and square trial, and not a biased one based on emotions or subjectivity. That is all, sir.
The court is pleased to hear the arguments and evidentiary material put forth by both the sides. The arguments were educative for the court, and it needs to be said that the defense managed to find many gaps in the prosecution case. The incomplete documentation of the wound certificate and the lack of comparison of blood group or DNA from the weapon were serious lacunae. The methods adopted by the defense team were not above board either. It is clear that there was attempted manipulation of at least one of the witnesses. It cannot be taken in a light manner. The prosecution has, however, managed to connect the weapon with the perpetrator and has placed the perpetrator at the scene of the crime. And the court is it is clear to the court that the defendant had indeed stabbed the victim and that the wound led to the death. However, the prosecution has failed to establish the level of intention clearly. Hence, the defendant is found to be guilty under the section 304 of the Indian Penal Code. നിങ്ങൾ കുറ്റക്കാരനാണെന്നാണ് കോടതി കണ്ടെത്തിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. ശിക്ഷ വിധിക്കുന്നതിന് മുമ്പ് എന്തെങ്കിലും കോടതിയോട് ബോധിപ്പിക്കാനുണ്ടോ? The defendant is sentenced to 10 years rigorous imprisonment. He is also fined a sum of 50,000 rupees. The court is adjourned.
All rise.
Just a few key points to summarize. The prosecution has presented evidence that Sukumaran had a motive to harm Falgunan and was identified by an eyewitness. The defense has raised several doubts about the prosecution's statements. Daya was the public prosecutor's witness who was approached by the defense counsel and offered 4,000 rupees in exchange for false testimony in court. The discrepancy between Daya's statement in court and the investigating officer's report was effectively highlighted, causing the judge to declare her as a hostile witness and guilty of perjury. The defense counsel brought in Unni Mohan the tailor to challenge the credibility of the eyewitness by pointing out his limited eyesight. The CMO, Dhanraj's documentation was inadequate and taken lightly, as it didn't state the nature and extent of the wound as an incised stab wound, which turned out to be a free pass for the defense counsel. The forensic scientist could prove in the court that the murder weapon belonged to the accused with the help of partial fingerprints. However, the prosecution witnesses couldn't prove to the court that the same weapon could have been used to stab the deceased. This was because the DNA analysis and blood grouping was not done. According to the statement made by Mr. Poti, a trivial injury to the small adrenal artery would not have caused such massive blood loss unless there was a delay in reaching the hospital. The injury was only likely to cause death and not sufficient in the ordinary course of nature to cause fatal injuries or the death of this individual. This twisted play of words helped the accused be excluded from the 300 IPC, which is murder, being charged against him. Benny verified the statement by stating that there was a real delay in reaching the hospital and hence a delay in starting treatment. By doing so, they missed out on the crucial golden hour for treatment. In closing arguments, the prosecution requests a maximum penalty for Sukumaran, citing the evidence presented. The defense argues for a fair verdict, highlighting the failings in the prosecution's case. The judge delivers the verdict, finding Sukumaran guilty under the section 304 of the Indian Penal Code, indicating a conviction for culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Thank you. As we draw the curtains on this engaging moot court session, it's my privilege to extend a heartfelt expression and gratitude to all who have made this event a resounding success. First and foremost, we would like to thank our principal, Dr. Girish sir, for all the support and encouragement provided to make this event a success. We would like to express our gratitude to Dr. V.V. Pillai sir, our HOD, for giving us the opportunity to participate in this session. Big thanks. Big thanks to Ajay sir and Anu sir for taking time from their busy schedules and providing their valuable guidance and unwavering support throughout the preparation process. To our participants, bravo! Your dedication, diligence, and eloquence have been a cornerstone for this event. Special thanks to Satishan uncle and Manish for their participation. Your dedication and hard work have not gone unnoticed, and we are truly grateful for your contributions. We extend our gratitude to all our volunteers and staff members, audiovisual staff, who have helped us ensure the smooth functioning of this event. Last but not least, to our audience and guests, thank you for gracing us with your presence today. Your enthusiastic support has been a source of encouragement for all involved. Thank you.
Not as a witness, as an audience member, was really spectacular. And all credit to those who were part of organizing this. I am not part of it, I confess. I just, said to Anu when he broached this idea that please go ahead, it's a wonderful idea. And with the help of Dr. Ajay, the others in the department, it has been a fairly flawless, kind of presentation. What I could see, I'm sure that must be as good in the part that I missed also. So I hope that in future we can have many more such role enactments, because there's nothing like learning the subject with the help of things like this. Not just reading or listening to a lecture, but being a part of what you're expected to learn. That's the best way to learn. So I will not take any more time. All I would like to say is, it was wonderful. I wish I was here for the entire session, but there was a clash with the lecture for the other batch, and that's why I came late. But what I could see was meticulously done. Full credit certainly to Dr. Anu, brainchild actually, this whole thing. Dr. Ajay, very able support. Dr. Ramakrishnan and all the others, the postgraduate students, and wonderful performance by, you know, our students. Really, I think you should... you should be really given more and more opportunities like this to be part of, you know, such things and express yourselves. It's wonderful to see as to how, you know, students, when they're given an opportunity, excel in what they're expected to deliver. So I was really spellbound at the arguments across, you know, the arguments, and then the way the whole thing was conducted in such a flawless manner and such a spellbinding manner, almost like a thriller, you know, that I was watching. So I was only disappointed that I couldn't see it from the beginning. I already apologized to Anu in the beginning itself. I apologize to all of you. But yes, it was wonderful, and I wish you all the very best. We would like to see more and more, you know, such engagements on your part. And it's a really interesting subject. There are so many committed, you know, teachers who are there to help you, right from, you know, the non-teaching staff upwards. So we would all like you to become, you know, really active and enthusiastic about all this, which I'm sure you'll carry forward in life later on and look back with that kind of, you know, feeling that it was a very good experience, a learning experience that we had. So thank you all very much. And again, congratulations to everybody who was involved, and really appreciate the audience also for perfect decorum, just like you encounter in a courtroom. Everything, I think, was perfect. So that's all from me. Yeah.